ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Wow, it's nice to see people getting up early morning and joining. Yeah, even from Dubai, people, Muscat people are there. What time is it there? 6 o'clock. Okay, so as usual, let's start. The first class is a meditation class. Okay. So you sit erect. Okay. If you're sitting cross-legged, of course, fine. If you're sitting on a chair or something, see that your feet are firm on the ground, flat on the ground. I know you would have seen some of the gods' murtis, one leg up, one leg down, etc. Let us leave that posture for the gods and we will sit with both our feet firmly on the ground. Okay? Hands in comfort position. Yeah. Wherever you are comfortable, whatever you are comfortable. Okay. Okay. So we first start with relaxing the body. See that your spine is erect and you're sitting on your tailbone, literally. The whole body is relaxed. Eyes and mouth gently closed. No frown on your face, facial muscles relaxed. Neck muscles relaxed. Shoulders relaxed. Arms, forearms, palms and fingers all relaxed. Chest muscles relaxed. Stomach relaxed. Sides, upper back, lower back, all relaxed. Waist and hips relaxed. Thigh muscles relaxed. Knees, calves and shin relaxed. Ankle, feet and toes, all relaxed. Look at this body in one sweep of vision from the head to the toe. It's relaxed. Now some of you are familiar, we used to do the prana ikshana, watching your breath. Yes, bring your awareness to the breath. Along with watching, we will do some little anchoring of the breath. What is that you will get as we go ahead. Okay. Just pay attention to your breathing. You will feel it at the tip of your nostrils. Just pay attention. Feel the breath there. Let all your awareness be there. Awareness not as consciousness, but awareness in terms of your awarefulness, your mind. Now, as the breath is going in, be aware of the breath in the throat. Just be aware of the breath. Breathing happens, you're just being aware of it. Be aware of the breath passing through your throat. Now take your awareness to the lungs. See the breath going into the lungs. As the breath is going into your lungs, your diaphragm will come down. You will feel a mild pressure in the nabi area. That's like it's almost as though the breath is going down into your nabi, into your belly button, and just below that. Be aware of that sensation, the breath going down to your belly button and a little bit below as well. Remember, breathing happens, you're just aware of it. Now invoke the Lord in whatever form you can relate to and offer a Manasa Puja, a mental worship. Doesn't matter if you don't normally do a puja, do what comes into your mind. You can always learn from Rashmi how to do the Panchopachara Puja. But now, offer Dupam, Deepam, Naivedyam, etc. Take the Arati plate for the final Arati. See the camphor flaring up. Let the Arati plate go around the Lord. See the face of the Lord lighted up. Now you put down the Arati plate, prostrate to the Lord. Remember, you are invoking the Lord in a particular form. The Lord is the whole universe, as you have seen in the Dosha Parihara Stotra. Ashtakam rather. So in harmony with that, look at the people in your life. And tell yourself, I accept that. I accept them for what they are. Look at your partner. Accept the person as the person is. That person is also a manifestation of Ishvara, as you are. So accept that. There may be times when he or she will drive you up the wall. That's okay, accept that as well. It's okay to feel like that. That's also Ishvara's order, accept that. The lack of a partner in life, accept that as well. Your parents, the family that you came in from, that you were born into, accept them for what they are. It may be nice if they can change a bit, but just accept them. If you want to put some emotional space, accept that as well, but accept it. Your in-laws and outlaws, accept them as well. They have their own background. It's an order of Ishvara. Accept that. You can endlessly find fault. That's easy. We have seen how the mind goes into fault finding. Maybe necessary, maybe not. But accept them for what they are. They are struggling with their minds like how we are struggling with ours. Accept them. Your siblings and your sister-in-law, brother-in-law, etc. Have a look at all of them. Accept them for what they are. Your children, especially if they are of teenage years and a pain for you, accept them for what they are. The lack of children in your life, accept them also for what they are. They may be physically, emotionally away from you. Accept that as well. Your colleagues at work, accept them. Just accept. There's a lot you want to change about them. That's okay. Right now, first accept. Even to change, you have to accept what they are. Accept them. The neighbors in your society, the cooperative society that you stay in, very often they are uncooperative societies. The secretary may be a pain, but accept them for what they are. They all have their backgrounds and they're struggling with that. You may not like them one bit. That's okay. Probably they don't like you as well. And that's also okay. Accept that. Why should everyone like me anyway? Accept that. come to your own body. There may be certain things you are not happy with this body, but it's getting you around. Accept that. Even if you have some aches and pains anywhere, accept that. There is a reason for everything. It can be traced. You may not be fully aware of it, but it is there. If nothing, at least a karmic pattern that you have to go through. Accept that. Even to change certain things about your body, you need to first accept that for what it is. So accept it. If you want to lose some weight or gain some weight or whatever, that's okay, that can be done. Accept it. Your mind. Sometimes you may wonder what the hell is happening with my mind. That's okay, accept it. Accept that mind. For every emotion you feel, there's a pattern, there's an order there. Recognize that and accept it. There may be certain things you want to change. That's okay, accept them. You can always change. But before you change, you need to accept. Your knowledge, your thinking patterns. You may need to have some more clarity on certain issues. That's okay, accept that. Accept that knowledge of yours. Accept your thinking. Even if you have to change certain patterns of thinking, accept that this is it for the time being. I accept that. What all is there in my unconscious, in my karmic patterns, I don't know, but I'll accept that. All of this is something I can accept. So have an attitude of acceptance with all of them. My whole life need not go in being critical of all of them. Just accept. Then if I want to work for some changes, I can happily work for those changes. Right now, just accept it. And one important thing, the teachers that you relate to and your co-students, accept them as well. All the students are not at the same level. Each one proceeds at their own pace. So accept all of them as they are. Each teacher is different. Accept them for what they are if you want to learn from them. Exactly like how the teachers accept the students for what they are, in spite of sometimes confronting, sometimes loving. Accept them for what they are. The whole creation, a manifestation of Ishvara. Accept it for what it is. Including the virus, there's an order there, accept it. You will fight it, you will avoid it, but accept that fact. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamugacchate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can open your eyes and come back to normal thinking. Cup your eyes if you want to. Okay, so now going back into Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Okay, when Swamini comes on, she'll continue with her text. Okay, so we continue with this. From the questions that you all asked last evening, I could make out that a lot of you are jumping ahead. Don't do that when you listen to Vedanta text. Okay. One thing you need to know is to listen is to remain with the words as they are. Like how in meditation, you are with my words, not going forward or backward. Hopefully. Similarly, here, you don't go forward or backward. You just listen. Let the words take you where it has to take you. You'll get it. If you go too much forward and backward, especially when it's being unfolded, it will not work. Even if you have heard it before, or you have heard somebody else say it slightly differently, it will happen because each teacher has a personality. So that will happen. But stick with the words. That's important. I remember I used to attend Pujya Swamiji's public talks. After doing a whole 3-year course under him, spending 6-7 years in Rishikesh learning texts with his teacher and everything. But when I used to listen to him, I'm with the words. That's it. Let the words. There is a beauty in the Sampradaya that will help you see the truth. So we saw Anantam Jnanam yesterday. Okay. How Jnanam is Anantam. Only if you take the meaning of Jnanam as Jnapti Matram, not the evidence meaning, not the knower, not the known, not the knowledge, but the content of the knower, etc. What is implied there as pure consciousness. Anantam Jnanam implies pure consciousness. It is not the direct meaning of the word Jnanam. The direct meaning of the word Jnanam will be any of these 3-4 things I mentioned last time. But by adding the word Anantam there, you are implying the meaning to be pure consciousness. By negating from the knower all that is antam, santam, all that is finite. And you are left behind with nothing but pure consciousness, which is what you are. When I say consciousness, don't put it in Timbuktu. Some of you have read these books. Consciousness beyond the mind, beyond this, beyond that, beyond that. Yes, gold is beyond the chain. Gold is beyond the bangle, right? Correct. Because bangle is not gold. No? Gold is not limited to a bangle. That's what you mean by beyond. Nothing else. Nothing else. This will be clearer when we understand the meaning of the word Satyam. Now the word Satyam, Bhu Sattayam, can be used for any existing thing. It can be used for any existence. Sadgataha. So by Sandhi rule, it will become Sangataha. The Gataha which is existing, Sat. As opposite to Asadgataha. The Gata which is not there, broken, gone. Asangataha. This is Sadgataha. But no one thing that is existing can be Anantam. Therefore, like how we went to from Jnanam, how from the knower we negated all the Santams, all the finite things, we have to do the same thing with a finite existing thing. Okay? I am holding a book in my hands. This book is a finite entity, right? Okay? Couple of 100 pages, more, 360 pages. Then the covers, etc. Doesn't look that big. Okay. Now here is you have a book. What is finite about this book? Obviously, calling it a book itself is finite. Because a book is a particular arrangement of paper, isn't it? If all this was not bound together, it could be a sheaf of papers in a file. So by calling it a book itself, we are limiting it. Alright. So let us not limit it. Let us call it paper. But paper is also limited. Paper is also limited. Alright. Then what shall I do with it? Like how we went from the chain form to the gold. Let us see whether we can do the same thing here. What is this paper? Oh, once upon a time, this paper was a tree. Wood pulp. From wood pulp you made the paper. Alright. Now look at it. Wood pulp is a larger concept than just paper. But it's still finite. What is wood pulp? Hydrocarbons, isn't it? It's just a hydrocarbon. Wood pulp is hydrocarbon. This body is also hydrocarbon. Now can you see, by shifting that standpoint, I have actually made the concept larger. Wood is hydrocarbon. This body is also hydrocarbon. The food that you eat is also hydrocarbon. In fact, we are living on a planet which is hydrocarbon based. If you're living on Venus, probably you would be sulfur based. Now don't tell me that's why women are from Venus. Got no connection, okay? Between sulfur and that, there is no connection. So, hydrocarbons now. But hydrocarbon is also a finite thing. Na? There are other molecules which are different. So, but all molecules are made up of atoms. Therefore, let us shift it to atoms. That's better. But an atom of hydrogen is different from an atom of helium. Sorry, hydrogen is a molecule. Helium is also a molecule. Okay. Let us say copper and iron. They are different from each other. But all atoms are made out of particles. So let us shift our attention to particles. Now that's more global. Like how atoms was more global, particles are even more global because that's a building block for the atoms. More global, subatomic particles, more global, looking for that goddamn particle. You know, words like this are given by the media, not by the scientists. The scientists don't call it God particle. It's the Higgs boson. Similarly, God men. None of us call ourselves God men. Media created, okay? So God men, God particle, etc. are media created. Leave them aside. The Higgs boson. Now you are into a funny position. Because every time you are negating, you are getting another form. We started with this book and we negated, kept on negating, but I'm getting smaller and smaller forms. But getting smaller and smaller forms, the idea is becoming more and more global. Can you see that? From book, when I negated to paper, it is more global than book. Negated paper into wood pulp, it became more global than paper. Into hydrocarbons, it became even more global. Now particles is more global because the whole universe is made up of subatomic particles anyway. So when I negate all forms, what will I left behind with? Don't say nothing. We started with this book. If you say nothing, let me whack you with this. You will understand that it is something. In my hands, this book can be a weapon, okay? I can knock somebody unconscious with this book. With this small little book? Yes, with this small little book. You will know exactly how much existence is there in it. Yeah, you will understand exactly how much existence is there. So, you can't say nothing. You will have to say, if I am negating all forms, what is left behind is formless existence. Therefore, formless existence is the reality behind this book. Does that fit in with the idea of Anantam? Because what limits is the form. When there is no form, it becomes boundaryless, unconditioned by space, and therefore unconditioned by time. Therefore, Anantam, Satyam, means pure existence. Pure existence. Unconditioned by time and space. That's the reality behind this book. That's the reality behind this body. That's the reality behind all these names and forms in the universe that you see or you infer. Actually, all these particles are the way you conceive of something. All these particles are only conceptual. That's why under certain conditions it manifests. The Higgs boson, etc., they are still analyzing data to see whether it manifested. They are not yet definite, 100%. Probably it has. If you look at all the papers that are coming out, talk to all the scientists who are dealing with this. By the way, Indians gave $150 million worth of equipment to set up the whole thing, the collider in Europe. Yeah. We are a very great part of that whole experiment. Who said only we have to be proud of our past? We can be proud of our present also. Yeah, yeah, right here. We are taking part in that. So in all this, when that concept of that form is negated, all that remains is formless existence. Anantam Satyam. Now Satyam is no more an adjective for Brahman. Anantam Satyam we are talking about. Limitless existence. Existence that is limitless. And now we are in a bit of a quandary. Why? You have limitless existence on one side, limitless awareness on the other side. Correct? Because yesterday we saw Anantam Jnanam and today we are seeing Anantam Satyam. After seeing Anantam Jnanam, Anantam Satyam is easier. That's why I took Jnanam first. Can there be two Anantams? Can there be two limitless entities? That's like asking, can there be two infinites? If there are two infinites, both are finite. Even mathematically speaking, there cannot be two infinites. Therefore, you will have to say that what you call Anantam Jnanam is nothing but Anantam Satyam. Satyam and Jnanam are not two things. What exists is consciousness. Sattaya hi chit, chittaya hi sat. Ramana. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Sattaya hi chit, chittaya hi sat. They are not different. That means what? What you call as existence here and existence here is one and the same thing, that pure consciousness. That pure consciousness is Satyam. Therefore, Satyam Jnanam Anantam refers to what? One and the same thing that's otherwise introduced as Brahman. You are defining Brahman. As what? But when you look at the definition, it happens to be myself. I am that Brahman which is a consciousness, existence without any limits. Anantam Satyam is me. Which me? The me from which all limitations have been negated. All limitations have been negated, left behind with only that pure existence, which is me. Therefore, I am that existence consciousness, otherwise known as Brahman. So, I am trying to understand Brahman. Why? Brahma vedapnoti param. And in understanding Brahman, I am left with what? Me. I am that Brahman. I am left with Brahman. I am Brahman. Brahmaham asmi iti. So the Upanishads presents Brahman as something to be known. Nyayam. Nyayam Brahma. Why? Because you are coming out of a need for moksha, out of a sense of fulfillment. You want a sense of fulfillment. Remember, moksha cannot be gained like how Hagar the Horrible can gain it. He's gaining culture from Paris. You can't gain it like that. Hey, if you do something like that, it will be very easy, really. To storm a castle and take a treasure, big deal. Aram se. How is the big deal about that? But this is different. This is different. Jnayam Brahma, because I need a sense of fulfillment. Brahmavid apnoti param. Therefore I am seeking that. And in the process of seeking that, I understand it's not something to be gained in terms of action. I can't go about getting it. Because all my actions are finite. Even if I'm a workaholic, work 16 hours a day, still finite output. Yeah, output is still finite. Look at our PM. He hardly sleeps 4 or 5 hours. All the time he's working, no family, nothing else. His whole focus is on work only. And he still says there's so much to be done. Correct. A country like India to do whatever you do falls short only. Poor guy. Sometimes I feel sorry for him. Kitna karega? But he has chosen it and he's doing a reasonably good job. So it's okay. Fine. But even if you have a workaholic, Steve Jobs, etc., finite output. Therefore, by action you can't get it. Therefore, the Upanishad says Brahmavid, because something that's infinite. Aparam chet kartavyam. If it is finite, it can be achieved through action. Many of you feeling hungry. You know breakfast is there. Maybe some of you have nice idlis there, or a nice paratha there, or I have some nice oats waiting for me. But by knowing it, I am not going to get fat. My hunger is not going to get satisfied. I know it is there. That makes me more hungry, not less hungry. Aparam chet kartavyam. I have to go and eat it. I have to go and eat it. Or say, forget it, I'll put up with my hunger. Param chet, if it is absolute, Jnatavyam, it can only be known. Why? Because it's infinite, it has to be in and out through everything, including me. Therefore, Brahman is presented as something to be known. Jnayam Brahma. Why? Because you want moksha, you want a sense of fulfillment. Therefore, you go to learn, you go to your guru. Tasmat vijnanartham gurumeva abhigached. You go to a teacher to learn. Why? If you read Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, what will you understand? There is something called Brahman, very large. It has got 3 qualities. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Correct. I know Brahman. What do you know? Nothing. You just picked up a word. You just picked up words, that's all. No, Brahman, Sachidananda. Word, Sachidananda. What is that? If you really knew, there is no point in you being in the camp, okay? You can take a camp yourself. Yeah. Don't worry, all of you will get great insights in the camp. Therefore, in the way of understanding, you go to a teacher and you understand. And in that understanding, you cannot understand Brahman without knowing yourself. You can understand Brahman by knowing that Brahman is yourself because of the word Jnanam. The word Jnanam is there. Most important word there actually. Brings me into the picture. For those who asked me that question yesterday, is it like a Mahavakya? This is what makes it a Mahavakya. The Jnanam being there. Because you etc. is not mentioned. Like Tat Tvamasi, you are that reality, that Tat. Similarly, in Satyam Jnanam Anantam, there is no mention like that. But Jnanam is there. I come into the picture automatically. There is no way I can remain out of the picture since the word jnanam is used, because I am the knower anyway. Each one of us. Therefore, I am the Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. But you are also Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. I can't say I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, but you are not. Can I say that? Then what am I doing as a teacher? Each one of us is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. There are about 105 people here. Not bad for a morning meditation class. Okay. So, each one of us is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. That coronavirus is also Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Okay, don't forget that. Yes, how do you take care of this plurality? I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, alright. You are also Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Then how do I not know what you know? Many of you are software experts. If by knowing Brahman I could know what is there in your mind, all this would be so easy for me. In my time, all this was not there when I was working. And thanks to my wonderful students who take care of a lot of things for me, I have not bothered to pick up these skills. But now I feel, yes, I should. So now I will. It's another skill. You have picked up so many skills in life, one more is not an issue. So, what is there in your mind, I don't know. What is in my mind, you don't know. Better not. Problem ho jayega. Because this mind can be a very complex thing. It holds so many different things in it. Na? Pagal jan jayega. Everyone tries to know it. So, that being the case, I still seem finite. I am that pure existence, true, but I am still feeling limited. If I am existence and that wall is existence, I should be able to go through that wall. You know how much of sweat and blood and pain you have to experience just to make your hand go through that wall. Iron fist training, mar jata. Even then, not the same. Not the same. Therefore, we come into the other aspect of it. Okay, a very important aspect. Okay, what is the nature of the world and what is the nature of Brahman with respect to existence? A very, very important part. If this is not clear, Vedanta will not be clear. For which, let me clarify an example before I go into that. Let us say you have a lot of ornaments from gold. Gold is the content. You have a bangle, you have a chain, you have a ring, you have an earring. Can the bangle fulfill the function of a ring? No. Can the chain become a bangle? Right, as in the form chain, can it fulfill the function of bangle? At the most you can try wrapping it around like a bracelet, but it's not bangle. Can the bangle become a chain? So you will find there are different forms, and form follows function for different function. In fact, the heart of good design is form follows function. Therefore, we have different forms, different function. Therefore, can you say that form has an independent existence apart from gold? If you doubt it, you know the chain that you are wearing? Give me the gold and keep the chain with you. This is called experiential learning. You do it once, you'll never forget it. Right? 10 gram gold gaya. 50,000 bucks gone. Okay. Just for learning. You are getting an MBA in Vedanta, okay? Experiential learning. Don't worry, I don't want your gold. Yeah. In fact, all right, tell me, okay. Just imagine this is a gold chain, okay, on which this Rudraksha is hanging. Okay. Visualize it. This is a gold chain. Tell me, where is the chain and where is the gold? Where the chain is, the gold is, right? Where the chain is, the gold is. So, is the gold in the chain? Inside kuch hai? Is the chain is superimposed on the gold. You must have read this. Yeah? On top of the gold, chain is sitting. Is the chain sitting on top of the gold? No. The chain is not sitting on top of the gold. The gold is not in the chain. Then what is it? Gold in this form is called a chain. Correct? So what you call chain is nothing but a form of gold. Can the form be independent of the substance? Can the form be independent of the substance? No way. No way. Okay. After this camp, I want a Guru Dakshina from you all. Okay. What is that? Make me a kurta. Make me a kurta without cloth, without any content. Without cloth, without paper, without this, without that, without that. Can you do it? The kurta depends upon the cloth. The cloth is independent of the kurta. The chain is dependent on the gold. The gold is independent of the chain. Therefore, gold is the chain, all right. Can you say chain is a gold? Because gold can be there in any form. It's not limited to the chain. Therefore, what type of a relationship can gold and chain have? What type of a relationship can the gold and chain have? This in Vedanta, yeah, it is called, nice to see you, sir. This is called A mithya sambandha, an apparent relationship. The relationship of one that is independent called Satyam. What is independent called Satyam, and the dependent called Mithya. So the chain becomes Mithya, the gold becomes Satyam in this example. The kurta becomes Mithya, the cloth becomes Satyam in this example. So Satyam is the independent existence, Mithya is a dependent existence. Mithya is time bound. Mithya is subject to modifications. Mithya is not mere delusions or illusions. All delusions and illusions are Mithya, alright. Famous example, you see a snake on a rope. Illusion. Agreed. Mirage water. Illusion. Agreed. They are Mithya. What about the chain and the gold? The chain is also Mithya, though it has got a functional validity. The mirage water does not have a functional validity. The snake on the rope does not have a functional validity. The chain on the gold has a functional validity. That doesn't prevent it from being Mithya. The earth that you walk on is flat for your experience. Thank God. Imagine walking on Bombay Road with all the craters if it had to be curved and you had to walk curved. You have had it. There's no hope for you. But Mithya, alright. You enjoy a rising sun. The sun doesn't rise or set. Mithya, alright. The Mithya is dependent on the Satyam. The non-rising sun is the rising sun is dependent on the non-rising sun. The flat earth is dependent on the round earth. The Mithya is dependent on the Satyam. That Satyam stands independent of the Mithya. If this much is clear, now we'll apply it to Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. But not right now. Break ke baad. Okay? After a break, because breakfast is waiting for you all. So we'll see again at 10 o'clock. Okay? Thank you all. Have a nice breakfast, have a cup of tea, come back alert and fine. Yeah. Okay.